been done and tried, and the recipes is not one thing only. You have to learn by your experience, but it's not new.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because I get the feeling, I've been around here, that for a lot of people this is new, and it's like I'm ready.
No.
Okay.
No. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's fine. So.
Yeah. No. I think. I mean, we certainly. In our.
It's gone now.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. I can talk about this too. Yeah, I mean, we've, you know, if I put a reference list up there, there's probably not an original thought in what we're doing in there, and I think that that paper by that Burke's chap, one of the things that he spoke about was, and the fault with this is that, you know, if we're going to look for a linear solution to this problem and ignore the complexity, we're toast. So we really are, you know, we are going to be dealing with issue over the next 30 years that is emerging and mushrooming as we're doing it, and so you know, I think in terms of reference material, I would very much appreciate any material that you can. I think I haven't got a website, I mean an email address, but we can talk. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much, Paul.
Thank you.
I'll just give everybody a minute or two to get in or out.
And this is to change a slide. That one to go to the next slide, that one to go back.
Okay.
Okay, thanks everyone. Our next speaker is going to be Janet Snow from the Treverton Trust, and she's going to be speaking about educator development and environmental learning.
Hi everyone, I'm a bit daunted by the fact that I'm speaking about the only person I see that's speaking specifically about education to a bunch of scientists at a symposium, but I'm very pleased to see that Paul added in the social component, but I do ask that please, your ships, there should be an education ship as well.
Yeah.
All right, we're looking and talking to all three of those components as well. So we should. Sorry?
It's the rudder.
It's the rudder.
Yeah.
Thank you. There we are. I got somebody. All right. Education, basically, background where I'm coming from is that we have a frightening scenario that we're dealing with, and I don't think that we've actually taken cognizance of the scenario before, is that 80% of our teachers teaching in South Africa at the moment were taught in an old system. When I talk about an old system, I'm not talking about a system that only taught about how your teaching methods were. They also didn't, the bond to education component wasn't established for them to teach what they are asked to teach today. And the teachers are daunted by this. They have not received any formal environmental education training. And yet we are expecting them to teach a curriculum that is now very heavily endorsed with environment. We have done a survey, a group of us have done this together, and in one of our subjects, we have 50% of it is environmental component. So, at one grade. So it's imperative, yet our teachers are battling to find it, and how can they teach this? And so we really do need substantive interventions to assist our teachers, more than anything else. So what do we got at the moment? We have this poor teacher standing on the edge of the bank, and he's absolutely over-endorsed with everything that we think this teacher should be doing. We are going ahead and saying, here, do that. And that has been the focus of a lot of our education components within South Africa for a long time, is that we believe the teacher should be doing something, and we've handed it on to them. And we made the mistake, and I say collectively, we as a large amount of our education components made the mistake of trying to find where can our environment fit within the teaching structures and within the curriculum. Not so long ago, we did a complete flip of the coin. We said, right, it is in our curriculum, and fortunately we have now a new curriculum that really is supporting it, but how can we use that in the curriculum to make it come out? So if you're talking about Cape Parrots, and in a particular area you are discussing Cape Parrots, it's in the curriculum. It's not that you have to find it to put it into the curriculum. You've just got to find where in the curriculum sitting and pull it out. So it's a different component and different thinking at this stage. So from our component, what did we do? We initiated an educator development program project to address this shortfall. We developed a national teacher development network. And when I say we, the number of NGOs, Sandparks is involved in it. We've got Science involved in it. And it's led at the moment by Rhodes University and a few of the NGOs combined together. One of the components of what we're doing is develop modules, so that we can take trainers of teachers, have modules to work with, and those modules can then be introduced to the teachers. What did we do specifically for this Critical Ecosystem Partnership Fund? Is that we in 2012 ran a grade, subject and topic specific. Quite different to what we've normally done. Normally you go and you say, I'm coming to your school, I'm going to run an environmental education program. This is how I think you ought to be doing it, and we present it to them. The teachers would say, they sit there, they listen to what you have to say, you run with the children, you have a few children running around, it looks very good on your, for your funders, they think that you're doing something good. Only problem is, when you walk out of that school, nothing happens. Right. So once we now start looking at subject-specific, grade-specific, topic-specific, we are then able to say to the teachers, we are helping you to be able to achieve your objectives. How are you going to go about that? So we ran a geography climate change for grade 10 to 12. Initially we started grade 10. We started to realize that there is a progression within the curriculum, so we needed to actually add it on to the 12. And what I will be reporting about mostly today is the life sciences component, because there's such a talk about biodiversity. That is where we went on to, and it had a formal monitoring and evaluation process from the Rhodes University. What did we focus on in the content let me back that up again. In our past education system, a lot of people say, oh, if they know about it, there will be something done about it. That is often what you hear. Awareness. We often banter around the word awareness. And I was interested in this morning, just sitting here today, Bill initially spoke about community having to engage in critical thinking. And then, Paul, you spoke about educators, an unknown world. We don't know. And complexities, a world of complexities. And then also this morning, Quibus, you spoke as well about our perceptions. What we are thinking about now is guided by our perceptions and what I know and how I use that in my world. But if we go only by using a knowledge-based education now, firstly, it's a bit outdated. Actually, I hate to tell you that, but that's set with my father's generation even, where you had to know everything. The world, they say at the moment, is drowning with knowledge and is thirsty for wisdom. We are really thirsty for wisdom. Our children are feeling it exactly. They're feeling it worse than what we are feeling it. So if we only go by a knowledge base, we are missing out on the ability... Whoopsie, go back again. What have I done now? Whoopsie, never. I think I'm just going to use my finger instead. It's actually easier than trying to find the right button. You're not getting to a change-orientated learning. Change-orientated, I'm starting to think of my behavior. How can I appropriately use my behavior? Let's just put in it very loosely. You're not looking at the ethics, my ethical and values. I want to address my own values. I want to start thinking on values. What a pleasure when our children start thinking about that. You're not addressing the fact that there's contestability and deliberation doesn't occur. Local traditional knowledge. If you only come in with your understanding and your knowledge, you're going to miss out on a trick here. All right? Action-based and action projects. You want those to start happening. It is a component of what a lot of eco-schools is based on, action projects. Problem solving, really, that's the beauty of education. The moment allows for problem solving thinking. So use that to your ability. When you are using your, working with education within wherever you are, use that problem solving ability sitting in the curriculum. It's very strong in the curriculum. Use that to your ability. We just have to be able to pull it out appropriately. different ways of learning. It doesn't take into consideration that everybody has a different way of learning, and even if you think back on your school career, you can think about how many times you were asked to regurgitate facts, and I know I couldn't regurgitate them. My husband might be, he's that way thinking, I cannot. All right, so it's a different way of thinking, and definitely reflection. Right. This is one of the things that we had to bring in mind. There's a lovely cartoon that goes with that. Remember that. I said I taught him. I did not say he learnt it. All right, that's the trick. Right, just a quick one. What was our course logistics? We just ran it over a few days, and yes, we found that maybe it wasn't ideal, but the teachers had to actually submit assignments. The assignments were based on their teaching ability. Not ability, their teaching. So they had to go and do teacher exercise that they would have done anyway, even if we weren't participating in this course. What we did is we had a subject content. You cannot get away from knowledge. It's still there. It still has to be there. But it's not the only component. Very importantly, we spoke about our teaching practices, and our new curriculum is called the Curriculum Assessment Practice Statement, and its assessment is there. All right, so we had to go into assessment and how to assess appropriately, but definitely we spoke on Monday, they spoke about demystifying biodiversity. Important, comes with the knowledge, but appropriate and relevant teaching processes that would help and support those means. Okay, now it's not working. There we are. So just basically some teachers doing some group work together. And this is the content that we looked at. It's not just basically going in there and saying this is environmental education. We looked at a large number of different content. We actually did a very progressional understanding what environmental education is. Obviously, it also came to the key concepts of biodiversity, the role of biodiversity, human impacts of biodiversity, emerging responses of biodiversity impacts. And all of these had to have the teaching processes. And that is where we help our teachers. If the teachers can see that there is a process that is appropriate for teaching that component of the curriculum that will lead to your required outputs, it helps them to address their required outputs as well. The approaches of the workshops were very interactive, flexibility, opportunities through presentations. They did their own presentations, group work as well, so that they could learn from each other and pull on each other's strengths and weaknesses. And obviously, the one thing that is very short is our resources. Prior to the course, 95% of our teachers had not received any environmental concepts training previously. Right. So that's a wake-up call. How can we go into a school and start presenting environmental concepts when they themselves have received no idea whatsoever? They struggled with, these are some of the things that they struggled with. Really, it's just a few pointers there. But you can see a simple, I, in my program, had developed the biomes which I would just glip over. It took me 3 hours to actually grapple with the biomes. And yet it's sitting in there, grade 10, term 3 curriculum. And they've been asked to teach about it. So it just indicates, right, post-course. Most importantly, the teachers showed that they were more confident to teach the biodiversity component of the life sciences curriculum in grade 10 to 12. And with that, they found they were enthusiastic to teach it, and that they became effective in their teaching, is how they saw it. Definitely knowledge was gained, so it wasn't lost. We don't lose the knowledge component, and they gained knowledge. They felt more competent to teach it. They indicated that they now had found pleasure in the subject. They themselves found that it was more. Strategies for learning had been of how teaching had happened, and they cited that they were now able to use assessment appropriately. There's a difference between assessment for learning and of learning. All right, Spinoffs, I'm about to finish, so don't worry. Spinoff, the learners had this to say, that they themselves considered careers in environmental education based on a teacher training course, because the teachers now taught life sciences appropriately with enthusiasm, and the pupils suddenly said, I like this. It's a big knock-on effect. There were some others that they did, and the teachers basically conducted a life sciences workshop to empower other teachers. So they themselves were now able to knock on the effect to others, and that they'd gained more knowledge and the ideas of how to work with learners easily. There's our ecosystem services booklet that we're using specifically for that. Teacher comments, most importantly, at the end of it, some of them saying it's a lifeline, biodiversity rocks. Yeah. Makes a big difference. All right, thank you.
Thanks everyone. We've covered a wide range of topics today, and